Hey guys, what's up? Well, it's still Halloween month, so I thought it'd be nice to look back at a classic cartoon that terrified us when we were kids, and it's Courage the Cowardly Dog. Now, this right here is one of my favorite Cartoon Network shows of all time, and I have to say, this is one of the most unique cartoons I've ever seen. Okay, so maybe a cartoon about a dog being scared of monsters isn't entirely new, as it's been done before with Scooby Doo. But Courage the Cowardly Dog is an entirely different show that knows how to balance out humor while also terrifying you with some of the creepiest episodes. Now, I don't know where to begin with this show. There is too much awesome things to say about this show. I could just end it right here, telling you all to head off to go watch it. But I really should elaborate on the show's strong points and weak points. I used to love watching this pink fuzzball go up against all of the manor mutants, psychopath, monsters, demons, mummies, and even aliens. And being a nerdy kid, I actually read many of the original stories of the show's episodes that were based off of. Watching it again now that I'm older allows me to recognize many of the references and winks to classics than I ever could as a kid. Everything from the Planet of the Apes comparison to the island of Dr. Moreau. Being older, I can also notice something else about this show. Courage the Cowardly Dog is terrifying, even with the weirdos coming up with the creepy conspiracy theories about Fred being a pedophile, and other such atrocious childhood killing ideas. There are too many examples that are too screwed up for my adult mind, from the Black Puddle Queen trying to seduce Eustace, to the Exorcist parody with the possessed mattress. There is even one episode that stands out for most people. Every 90s kid remembers Schwerk, a shifty-eyed New Jersey cockroach who tries to have Courage receive a black box, or else he will kill Courage's family. We never find out what's inside the box, but that's an aside. There's even a scene in this episode involving a girl with a violin which scared everybody, including me. It's essentially the same scene as Large Marge from Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure. But instead of fear, I remembered this episode with fondness. All because of a single joke that had me laughing for hours as a kid and still brings out a chuckle whenever I think about it. There's even that famous episode called The Mask, where it explores the themes of domestic violence, trauma, prostitution, and lesbianism. Kitty is portrayed as bigoted towards dogs. Her friend Bunny is trapped in an abusive relationship with Mad Dog, and is hinted that she is coerced with prostitution and stripping. Ultimately, Courage saves them. And the ending is pretty much hashtag not all men are bad. Because Kitty comes to the realization that not all dogs are evil. This was a great episode. I've heard some say that this was what led to the show's cancellation, which I kind of doubt. I just think that Cartoon Network thought the show was getting too scary for kids of my generation back in the day. And of course, nowadays, a show like this wouldn't get away in today's sensitive society because we gotta play it super safe with kids' cartoons nowadays. Also, here's a fun fact about Courage the Cowardly Dog. Courage almost had a reboot, but Cartoon Network decided not to go through with it for some reason. And at the time, Cartoon Network was ran by Stuart Snyder. And after hearing that, I really hope they don't reboot this show because we all know Cartoon Network's recent history with reboots. But in conclusion, Courage the Cowardly Dog takes a very cinematic approach to its art, storytelling, and characters, especially the horror genre. Most cartoons made within the last 10 to 15 years, at least with the younger audience in mind, tend to favor slapstick and general goofiness. While Courage undoubtedly has its fair share of both, it also creates a wonderfully spooky atmosphere and ambience, and in most cases piles plenty of surrealism. Whether it's the colorful, detailed background art on the suspenseful score, Courage does what most cartoons are too scared to do: frighten the audience. But not in a mean-spirited or disturbing way. We're invited to a slightly darker, more slanted world than usual. But a sense of charm and off-kilter comedy keeps things from staying too dark. Courage the Cowardly Dog gets an 8.3 out of 10. This is Red Wolf signing out, and I'll see you next time. Peace.